Make a wish? Okay. I want us to be together until the end of the world.
Jenny! I'm sorry. She doesn't have to die. I can help you. I can heal your wounds. We can save her if you trust me, if you put me on. What have you done to me? What am I? What am I?
All right, Nick, are
Yes.
you ready?
I'm ready.
You sure? You don't have any spaghetti you want to make right now? Tortellini or anything like that?
Well, I got some ravioli, but I can have that a bit
Damn,
later.
boy. People, I'm joined here by Kevin Baird. How you doing, Kevin?
Hello, great man, great.
Oh, that's good to hear, man. So lovely to hear your voice. The Murph,
How's it going, everybody?
Jason Murphy, and then we got our resident pasta addict, Nick Hodges. Nick, every time we get on the this is the third time, people, that we like got on to start recording, and he's making pasta.
I was not making
dinner,
pasta,
but pasta.
I was making lasagna. You fuck.
Jason, what did we just tell him?
That lasagna is stacked pasta.
It's
just pasta in a different shape.
It's pasta on top of pasta on top of pasta. It's
That's
layers.
just your opinion, you know.
That ain't no opinion. That's a fucking fact. People, you can look at it. You can pull it apart and see. Oh, here's one layer of pasta. Oh, wait a minute. What is that underneath there? Oh, another piece of pasta.
Yeah. Here's what Nick. Nick looks at a cookbook. He's like, recipes. Those are really just more opinions or suggestions on how to make it.
Yeah, he's
Or
looking.
you could
at
argue that spaghetti is pasta too, even though
It
isn't.
is.
Oh,
It is.
God.
What?
Yeah,
is.
such Texans, you know that.
spaghetti is not pasta. This is not like Christians arguing against evolution. Okay, this is a fact. Spaghetti is pasta. All right. I mean,
Here it is on Wikipedia. Says spaghetti is a long, thin, cylindrical pasta of Italian origin. You dumb son of a bitch. That's what it says. Bro.
Is lasagna the same? Is lasagna pasta?
Let me Wikipedia lasagna real quick. Oh, lasagna is a classic Italian pasta casserole dish, which consists of alternate layers of pasta, cheese, a sauce, and often other ingredients. They said pasta twice in that definition.
Now, granted, Nick, we are looking at the U.S. Wikipedia, so I don't know what it is over there for you.
I think it's wikipedia.fag. If you go to that.
Well, that's perfect for you. I mean, the fact is that you think biscuits are scones, so it's.
Did you just? That's perfect for me. Like I call you something and you say, "I know you are, but what am I?"
I thought you meant like you look up Wikipedia fags. Like what? Because you're a fag, you know? Well, I mean, I don't get it. Would
Nick,
that be an insult to me?
Nick, Jason's being insulting. See, he's being mean. I'm trying to help you. Now, it's obvious that you have a pasta addiction, and it's really getting in the way of your performance on this program here, man. This is an intervention.
What I mean, Italian food.
For those of you listening, the loading bar is now called the Pasta Bar, where we talk about Italian cuisine for an hour.
Oh, I thought we opened a restaurant. Come into our Italian buffet every day, fresh pasta and salad,
All you
breadsticks for everybody.
On my
Sure
next
not Italian?
What's that?
No, I'm.
Sure.
Oh, he's
not
asking me.
Italian.
No, I'm
Not
half British.
Italian.
I'm half British and I'm half Croatian, and Croatia's next to Italy, so that's why there's.
Oh, so he's the authority. He knows what he's talking about.
No,
Nick,
next
It's a
time I'll put.
Mexico, so yeah, I'm fluent in Spanish, amigo.
C, mate. No,
C, mate.
Nick, we're just giving you a hard time.
Don't worry, I'll put in my schedule next time to have a cheeseburger. Will that make you feel more at home?
It would. It would. At least we know that a cheeseburger is a cheeseburger and not something else like you're trying to make lasagna to be. So, Nick, are you done with your pasta now? You ready to join us for this review?
Oh, I ate it an hour ago, so I'm good.
Nick, we just like messing with you, man. I can't wait to get the emails. Leave Nick alone.
Now, what I'm gonna get, you mug, is I'm gonna get like hundreds of emails, like just saying, "Hey, man, we're running out of pasta here in Ireland, or we're running out of pasta here in Mozambique, or where the fuck kind of spill members are from."
That's okay because in Ireland they're running out of money. So
they're running out of potatoes too. So
yeah, I think you got them. Oh, that's mean, man. That's just wrong. Anyway, Nick, you played, and I think you were the only one to play Splatterhouse for the PS3, right?
I'm surprised. I thought you, Corey, was playing. We're going to play Splatterhouse, and Kevin, I thought you were as well.
Well, Nick, go ahead, Kevin.
But I just didn't get to it today. I mean, I thought I was going to have a little bit more time to sit down. I had unwrapped. I have it inserted in the Xbox 360, and the power was on, and then Corey called me. So that's literally what happened, and I was like,
I was excited about it. I was looking forward to it because I'm a big fan of the original games. I think there was one on the Sega Genesis, and then of course there was the first one on the arcade, which was really, the content was disturbing for the time.
Yeah,
it was fucked up stuff, but this just looked kind of dumb and generic.
Well, see, Nick, I didn't need to play Splatterhouse, but sit down. Let me tell you something. Sit down, youngster. Look,
have a seat, little Nicky.
Yeah. Look, I played the original Splatterhouse back in the day, so you don't know nothing about that old Splatterhouse, Nick.
No, because I was one and I was shitting in my nappy at the time, so and it came out in 1988, I think.
It came out in 1988 in the arcade, and let me tell you something. This game does not. I don't think people kind of appreciate what this game did at the time, and it beat a couple of games in its content and also in its rating for what it is. I mean, it's as we said, it's a very gory game. It's a horror game, probably one of the first horror games to be featured in an arcade, and it is the first video game to have a parental advisory on it, at least in the arcades. And then you also have to appreciate that the game was violent before anything like Mortal Kombat. So, and this was years before. I mean, like I said, this was back in 1988. Now, it went on to a couple of home systems. Actually, a lot of home systems. It's the home system that is probably most remembered for was the TurboGrafx system back in 1990.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then went on to like the Sega Genesis and
it was only on the TurboGrafx 16, and then the second one and the third one were on, I think, the Genesis.
Okay. Yeah, that must have been the one I played. I played the arcade and then the Genesis one. And the imagery in it was just really unsettling. They had these like killer fetuses and a lot of stuff that has made its way into modern gaming now, but then it was really groundbreaking as some like just gruesome, slimy, shocking stuff that you only see in a few horror movies. It was really spooky.
Yeah, it was kind of a combination between Friday the 13th and H.P. Lovecraft.
Yes.
Because it dealt with you going into this mansion. And when you say haunted mansion, it's like, no, this ain't just no fucking haunted mansion. I mean, we got creatures of all kinds. And like you said, killer fetuses, man-eating worms, and corpses hanging from walls that spit on you. And I mean, it was all kind of stuff going on there. And the reason why you're in this mansion is because it's controlled by this mad scientist, Dr. West. I guess he's opened up another dimension that's made this mansion go nuts.
Dr. West, which is an H.P. Lovecraft reference.
There you go. See, and there's all this like, there's all these demons and stuff that have taken over, and so in the game you have to rescue your girlfriend who's been kidnapped by Dr. West. Now you just can't run in there being just some average guy. You're gonna get your ass whooped the moment you go through the door. No, you get what they call the terror mask.
Only thing you got left is your soul, and that belongs to me. Who am I? Let's just say I'm God. You're God. At least the only God that's listening right now. What do I want? Same as any God. A little faith. For without faith, I am nothing. And without me, you're fucked. She doesn't have to die.
And the terror mask ain't really anything but a hockey mask. It's meant to kind of look like I think there was even some legal thing going on where they were talking about, you got to change this up some in later versions of the game because it's obvious that this guy's supposed to look like Jason Voorhees.
Oh yeah, there were no bones about it. It was definitely a Jason ripoff.
Yeah. So you get into your Jason ripoff costume, and then you go into the mansion, and the violence gets crazy. You have chainsaws and shotguns. Here's the cool thing, though. This is what I remember when I was a kid looking at the game. You were given a 2x4, and you swing that shit at something, and you knock people into a wall so hard that they just splat up against
That was my favorite, especially the killer fetuses. It was so hilarious. It's just knocking evil babies into the wall and making them splat.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I'm gonna get arrested after this. So.
But Nick, we're making this all sound really cool because now they have it for the PS3, the Xbox. I think that those are the only two systems that they have it for right now. The Xbox 360.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
PS3 and 360. That's
So now they've given it the whole new generation console treatment. And the game is kind of the same concept here. You are entering the mansion of Dr. West, and to save your girlfriend, Jennifer, you have to... Is that her name, Jennifer, in the game?
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because you never fucking see her, pretty much, until the beginning and the end of the game.
And so, you put on the rage mask, and you turn into this big hulking guy, and everything. It's just like the Hulk. Everything tears apart on you except your jeans because they don't want to show you his dick. So, and so you have to go into this mansion, which now, since we're playing on another console, the mansion is bigger, the violence is gorier, the apparently there's crazier levels in here. You given abilities which are I guess they were in the game, but they're bigger here, where you like have berserker mode, where you just bust out in spikes, and there's even parts in this game where the violence gets so crazy that you shove your fist up a demon's ass to pull out a spine. So this sounds all cool to me, and I played this at Comic-Con and had a fun time. I thought it was kind of capturing some of the elements of, as somebody would say, classic Splatterhouse. What'd you feel about it?
That would be awesome if I was 13 and mentally retarded.
And mentally retarded. But Nick, I guess you didn't feel that as strongly as my dumbass did about this game.
As you can see, I've been very careful with my wording up until now, because I was like, are these guys like massive fans of the franchise or something? Because I don't see what the big fucking deal was.
You son of a bitch just calling us a bunch of dumbasses. Listen to these dumb shits here.
In not quite so many words, yes.
But so I take it that we talked a little bit about this. I'm making the game sound a whole lot better than what it probably is for you.
Yeah, I mean, like it got repetitive after 3 minutes, and it's kind of like an old. It does have those old arcade style elements to it, because there's only two types of modes. There's the 3D mode where you're just lumbering through corridors and killing the shit out of any demon that gets in your way, and then sometimes it'll turn into what looks like a Super Mario Brothers layout where you're dodging spikes and jumping up and down ledges and stuff, and I keep fucking up because of the way the camera is positioned. I would fall down a pit or something, and I would have to start again. And plus, the autosaves in the game really annoy me because they aren't frequent enough, and you have to start all the way back 10 minutes before, and you have to kill about 40 demons before you get to where you were again. So it was frustrating in that sense.
Yeah, I could see that there could probably be some problems with this game because now Kevin, you tell me if I'm right or wrong here. It was taken away from its original developer because Namco Bandai is the one that's distributing the game. They took the game away from a developer called Bottle Rocket, and then at the last minute, who did they give it to finish it off?
So basically, Namco had Bottle Rocket originally develop it, and then they decided to cut the developers out, close Bottle Rocket, and then they said that they were going to finish it in-house. But what was found out and what they admitted to later was that they actually rehired the people from Bottle Rocket to finish the game.
That must be some money laundering shit going on over there. Namco sounded like the mafia now.
That's like some jackass saying, okay, I'm going to take this Coke and I'm going to put it in a Pepsi can. No, it's Pepsi. Here, take it. Like, no, it's still Coke, motherfucker. It's just in a different can.
Right. It's one of those things like, okay, all you guys are fired, get out. But if you want to reapply for a lesser paying job,
yes,
working on the same game, okay, and some people were like, all right, and that's the game you got,
Motherfucker, I'm in a recession. What the hell you think I'm gonna do? Tell you what, I'm gonna pull my pants down. Why don't you just rape me in the ass right now while you're at it? Oh, that's good. Okay, let's finish this game. That's what Namco told him. We're going to fire you, but we're going to hire you back at a lesser pay. And we're also going to have this big guy in a Jason mask stick his hand up your ass just so you know what it really feels like.
Right.
And pull out.
If you get the collector's edition, that's actually what comes with the game. A guy in a Jason mask comes to your house and shoves his fist up your ass.
Yeah.
So I call life imitating art.
I know. You hear the guy at the door. Wait a minute, hold on. Hello? Oh, shit!
Right.
And so you could already tell that they were having problems with the game. And Namco's been having some problems. I wouldn't say they're having problems, but their games have not been selling that well this quarter. And this was one of the games that they had high hopes for, especially since it had somewhat of a legacy behind it. And I've been hearing some reviews of the game that are saying just the same thing that you're saying, that the camera work is terrible. We just got through talking about that. Some of your biggest games this year have some of the shittiest camera work. Camera work, people. Lesson for the day. Camera work. Developers, listen, camera work.
No shit.
Wow, we just got through talking about Epic Mickey and how the camera work was so bad in that. But here's the other thing. It was a game that kind of forgot about, because I did play it a little bit I'm not judging the game for what I saw, because actually what I played, I had fun with, but I could see it getting repetitive if it was the same thing it was doing. In the original Splatterhouse, it was a side scroller. Now that we have this way of playing it in a 3D environment, it's a beat 'em up brawler game. Just a very violent beat 'em up brawler. And so you have the same moves that you can repeat. You have the same enemies that generate. And even though you're in a different environment that's cool to look at, you have the same enemies popping up where you do the same thing, just a different look on the walls or whatnot. But the emphasis seems to be on gore and sometimes nudity, because you get to see Jennifer naked in some photos. And it's like, all right, we're going to like harken back to the 80s style of violence and horror, especially in those the real extreme monster movies or slasher films at that time. But maybe they
teenagers are into games like that. I mean, a lot of the selling point of the original one was the fact that it was really violent and extreme. I mean, you guys were talking about it just a minute ago, where you were beating babies off with 2x4s. I mean, is that, Nick, did you think that the game, would appeal at all because of the art and the violence or anything? Or is it just so completely unplayable or something that it's just not, it didn't work?
No, it's not unplayable, but I don't think, how big Splatterhouse, I didn't play the original, obviously, but I guess it was revolutionary at the time. Today, people are so used to violence in video games, and you got these better games with more in-depth stories and characters, and this is just, it's just so repetitive and boring. I mean, even the splatter kills are boring. Like when you stun an enemy, and you have like these extremely gory moves, we can rip off their arms and crush their heads in, rip out their colons, blah blah blah. But they tend to repeat themselves over and over again until you get to a new enemy, which is far like later in the game, 3 levels later. So I'm not really a big fan of beat 'em ups. I mean, God of War I thought was okay. That was interesting, but just because of the variety of enemies and the levels and how beautiful the levels look. Here you're really just moving from room to room, killing as many enemies as you can. And
so your inner teenager didn't say, or are you still a teenager? I don't know how old you are. That you were like,
no, that's a no.
you were like, boy, that was really bloody. I want more blood. I mean, it is called Splatterhouse.
The goriest game that I enjoyed playing when I was 14 or something was Soldier of Fortune, and even that was a first-person shooter. So. I miss the whole arcade movement, and this is definitely a game for beat 'em up fans and arcade nostalgic, people.
Yeah, I can see that, because, like I said, I enjoy playing what little I played. I got past a couple of levels, and I did see like some things there that they were there for the sake of doing violent things. As far as the gameplay goes, it wasn't very original. I beat up a bunch of enemies until I kill them all, and then they open up a door and a bigger enemy comes out, like some boss or something I have to defeat. That kind of thing right there. It's not the most original thing, but I remember talking to somebody like Metal Virgin, who was like saying, man, this game has nudity, blood, and heavy metal music. What more could I ask for?
Was that co-host? It was co-host, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking like this is the perfect game for co-host, but this is not the perfect game for me.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, man. It seems like this game is trying to ride off of more of nostalgia of a lot of things, of nostalgia of the game itself, nostalgia of horror. I don't know if you're into to extreme gore with heavy metal. It's your kind of game, and that's who they're trying to play off of. Does it make for a strong game? No, not really, but it does narrow it down to a core group of people who might enjoy it. I don't think it's big enough to make it like a huge hit game, though. It probably just ends up making it more of like a mediocre game than anything, or just an average game.
Yeah, and graphically, it's not that enticing either.
Really?
It has PlayStation 2 graphics. I mean, like, it just, I was thinking, really, this is a game for the next generation console. It was kind of ugly at times. So
see, I didn't think that, man. I thought it looked kind of cool. I actually, again, now you got Nick. Like I said, you know, I'm old school Splatterhouse. You know, it was cool to see some of the environments be brought into a 3D environment, and I thought that they actually captured some of the scrolling parts and incorporated it well as it led into some of the more fully dimensional parts of the game. So, like, again, that's just the person who appreciates the old game in me. So
apparently, you know, what I've read is that you guys could tell me is as you progress in the game, it unlocks the original Splatterhouse 1, 2, and 3 that you can play. I don't know if you guys got that far, but
I didn't get that far. But I've seen on YouTube that you can play the original Splatterhouse after you complete the game.
Yeah, all 3 of them. If you beat Phase 1 and 2. That unlocks Splatterhouse. If you beat Phase 3 and 4, Splatterhouse 2, and if you beat the rest, you play Splatterhouse 3.
Yeah.
Well, I got that far, and I didn't bother to check on the main menu to see if they were there, but I guess I got them. So,
well, Nick, sounds like this would be what, a rental to you?
Well, for me or for the general public? Because
I mean, no, you're the one that's talking about the game. It's for you.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I'll be honest with you. I fucking hated this game because the amount of times that I died, the amount of times I died and I had to restart, all the way back at the beginning of the level really pissed me off. I mean, I know there's the progression of video games where there's autosaving more frequently. This definitely goes back to what it used to be like in the 90s when you're playing Super Mario Brothers, and it didn't ever save in those type of games. I don't want to go back, to that. I fucking hated that at the time. So yeah, to me, I hated
his training wheels on his game.
Dude, who wants to play a game and then make one fucking mistake and then start all the way back at the beginning when it took them 4 hours to get to the princess's castle or whatever?
Welcome to 1985, dude.
Okay. Oh yeah,
I'm glad I missed the 80s then.
This was the kind of but like I said, Nick, see Jason, see Kevin, these kids today, they're spoiled, man. I remember back in my day, you would reach the end of a game, complete end of the game. If that boss whooped your ass, you had to start right back from the beginning.
Yeah,
you don't know nothing about no gaming.
Or remember when games didn't end?
Oh, when games didn't end? Yeah, when you just went on an infinite loop?
Right.
Yeah, they were games back in the day. Games were like life. They just got harder and harder and harder until they took all your points away and then you died.
Nick, we had to walk to the arcade in the snow with bare feet, 5 miles to play a game.
Games back in the day must have sucked ass, is all I'm saying then, if that's the case.
Honestly, yeah, you go back and play a lot of those.
Yeah, you're like, wow. It's like I said before, man, the imagery on the box really helped my imagination in playing this game because it was nothing like that.
But at least back then it was only 25 cents to know that the game sucked. Whereas today you got to spend $60 to find out.
Yeah, Splatterhouse cost me 40 quid. I was like, there's no fucking way this should be this expensive. Like, if it was £10, then I'd be like, okay, that's kind of fair, but really, for the type of game it is, it shouldn't be like $60 in America. Like, I would borrow it from a friend if you really have to, or rent it, but definitely not spend $60 or 40 quid on it.
Yeah, no, there you go. So unless you like just really into Splatterhouse, or if you're like co-host and you just love heavy metal music and tits in your video game, then I guess this is.
And let me remind you, this is the minority of gamers out there, so this is not going to make a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's a minority of gamers who love sticking their hands up demon rectums and pulling spines out. So.
In theory, that sounds awesome.
You're mine, Rick. Until Jen's back safe in your arms, you're mine.